Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are going to talk about the updates to the new Cure Wounds spell for 2024, 5.24, whatever you want to call it. It's the 2024 editions of Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about the changes. We're going to talk about a grade. We're going to talk about some classes that are good with it. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about all that. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you know when I got another video out or I'm live or whatever. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about Cure Wounds. This right here is the legacy version of Cure Wounds from the 2014 Basic Rules, Player's Handbook, whatever you want to call it. First level spell, 1 action, range of touch, verbal somatic. Duration is instantaneous. It was an evocation. In previous editions, I believe that healing was abjuration, but in 5th edition, they changed it over to evocation, and it's still evocation. So you touch creature, it gains a number of hit points equal to 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier. No effect on undead or constructs. And then you could increase the amount that you healed by a d8 for each level above first level. Usable by a whole bunch of different classes: bards, clerics, druids, paladins, rangers, life domain clerics, celestial, warlocks, artificers, circle of wildfire, druids. The divine soul sorcerer is not on here, but we're going to talk about that. All right. Here is the new Cure Wounds, and it got a big, giant update. Still first level, still 1 action, still range of touch, still verbal and somatic components. It is now abjuration. You will notice that. It changed to an abjuration spell from an evocation spell. Now, why is this particular thing important? Because if you happen to be a cleric wizard who's an abjurer wizard, every time you use this, you're going to heal up your shield. So that's something really that you should think about. Now, here is the big change that took place. A creature you touch regains a number of hit points equal to 2d8 plus your spellcasting modifier versus 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier. Next big change, nothing in here about undead, nothing in here about constructs. Remember, this spell has no effect on undead or constructs in the legacy version, but the new version doesn't say that per se. And if anybody knows any other kind of rules that go along with that, please chime in on the comments below and let me know. Now, the next big change, remember I said this could be upcast in the legacy version for a d8. This one can be upcast for 2d8. So we get double the amount of healing now versus what we used to get. It used to be a d8, now it's 2d8, and plus it's 2d8 per level. If you didn't know what the averages are, the average of a 8-sided die is a 4.5. That means when we cast this at first level, we're going to get 9 points plus whatever our spellcasting modifier is. So it's still usable by a whole bunch of different classes. We've got bards, clerics, druids, paladins, rangers, artificers, life domain clerics, circle of wildfire, druids, celestial, patron, warlocks. The divine soul sorcerer is still not here. But let's say it's a cleric, so you should have an 18 wisdom. That's going to be 13 hit points on average if you cast this at first level. Plus another 9 per level. So if you cast this as a second level spell, it's going to do 22 points versus this one. This one would do 4.5 plus 4. It would do 9 points plus another 4.5 if you cast it at second level for 13. So the new 2024 version does 13 at first level, which was equal to the second level of the legacy spell. So got way more bang for your buck. Okay, what kinds of classes do... Well, let's go over a grade for this. Let's go over a grade. So I'll kind of review again how I grade things. Is this spell pretty easy to cast? Yep, it's an action it's not a bonus action, but it's an action, so it is pretty easy to cast. Some spells take a little bit longer. Some spells take slots, things like that. Is this a spell that I am going to cast a lot of? Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely, this spell is going to be used a lot. Is this spell a spell that is integral to a build that I'm making? Well, a lot of healing builds. I've made these healing clerics. This is integral to that. You have to have this spell. There's no getting around it. So yes, it's very integral. It is a necessary spell that you must have to really go forward anywhere in any version of Dungeons and Dragons. You need to have some healing. And is it going to have an impact on party? Absolutely, yes. It is going to have a massive impact on the party. The fact that they increased the healing and doubled it is going to make this now an A+. And I believe I gave this an A for the Legacy version when I originally reviewed this. Okay, so let's talk about different classes. Obviously, the cleric can take this. An obvious choice for a subdomain for cleric is the life domain cleric because you get the Disciple of Life. So when you cast a spell with a spell slot, restoring hit points to a creature, that creature gains additional hit points on the turn you cast a spell equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So for this one, if you cast at first level, they get 3 extra points. So instead of 13, they get 16. If you cast it at second level, instead of 22, on average, they get 25. So this is a really good one. Druids, the Circle of Stars, particularly the Chalice form, a constellation of a living goblet, appears on you whenever you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points. That's Cure Wounds. You or another creature within 30 feet can regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier. So another creature, me or another creature, can gain hit points. So you can kind of spread quite a bit of healing around. Not a bad choice if you want to mix and match classes to min-max things. Previous level of cleric, Grave Dome, or previous subclass of cleric, a good one, and I've played this one before, is the Grave Domain cleric. Awesome class. They have this: when you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points with a creature at 0 hit points, you instead use the highest number possible for each die. So now Cure Wounds, if you were to cast Cure Wounds at first level, it is going to do 16, if they have 0 hit points, of course. 16 plus, if your Wisdom's an 18, that's going to be a 20. 20 hit points of healing at first level. And then at second level, it's going to be 32 plus the 4, so it'll be 36. That's a lot. That's a ton. All right, what other classes are we talking about? Paladin, of course. They get a number of different abilities, but the Paladins can use this in conjunction with their Channel Divinity, and they do have access to this spell just as an extra thing. Just for flavor, the Celestial Warlock gets Cure Wounds, and they have Healing Light, so you have a number of pool of D6s that you can use to heal their bonus action. So you can use this and Cure Wounds at the same time, because Cure Wounds is an action. This is a bonus action. This bonus action is not a spell, so you can do that. As a sorcerer, of course, just a flat-out sorcerer, you can't empower this spell because it is a damage roll, but you could distance this spell. So you spend a sorcery point, and if it's touched, it now becomes 30 feet. So now all of a sudden you have a 30-foot Cure Wounds. You could quicken this spell, which would allow you to cast it as a bonus action. And in addition, then as just a regular cleric, you can do this Divine Spark as an action. So you could cast Cure Wounds as a bonus action if you were a sorcerer cleric. Then you could cast Divine Spark and do more healing if you needed to. And of course, lastly, we have the Divine Soul Cleric, which does, a good Divine Soul Cleric does get Cure Wounds. And they have some pretty good stuff, but starting at 6th level, they can empower their healing spells. When you're an ally within 5 of you, you roll dice to determine the number of hit points it restores. You can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll any number of those dice, provided you were not aren't incapacitated. You can use this feature once per turn. So, if you cast this at 2nd level, Cure Wounds, and you get 4d8, now you can reroll those with a sorcery point. That's great, and that's cool. And you could even quicken that spell and then do the Divine Spark as well as a cleric. So, all good stuff. This spell hasn't lost its greatness. It is even better now that you can basically double the amount of healing that you can do. So all the great things you could do with this spell before, you can do even better now because of that. So, all right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.